Hello, everyone, and hope you're all having an amazing day or had an amazing day, depending on your current time zone. So, today I'm going to talk a little bit about our journey in trying to find the perfect set of medications for each of my daughters. One's primarily for her seizures, which she's doing a great job now with her medication. My other is for my oldest daughter, where she had to kind of find that happy balance. Unfortunately, for her. uh, Cryptococcus meningitis, which was a nightmare and also a journey. Let's put it like that, I guess. I guess you could say it was kind of a little bit of a journey, but also a nightmare. Constant nightmare. Yeah. I guess so was the seizures. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, let's talk a little bit about it. I'll give you guys kind of the ins and outs. Um what was the most difficult challenges, I guess, and what were our, I guess, our biggest accomplishments and the happy points in our lives when it came to just getting there and finally achieving our ultimate goal. So, hello everyone. For those of you guys that are new to my channel, welcome. For those of you guys that are seasoned subscribers, welcome back. My name is Kathy, and on Mondays I do videos all about fashion, accessories, just fun things that I enjoy doing to keep my mind off of the second half of the week videos, which are all about our journeys with two diseases, which is TSC and FSGS. TSC being tuberous sclerosis complex, which is tumors that can grow in any major organ throughout your body, and FSGS being a form of kidney disease that can cause damage to the glomeruli, which is the kidney filtration, which can lead to kidney disease, kidney failure, kidney transplant, or kidney dialysis, depending on the disease's progression. So if you're interested in either or, please hit the little subscribe button and hit the little bell so you can be notified on all of my latest videos. And please don't forget to hit the like button and comment below. Let me know what you think of today's video. And please don't forget, I wanted, excuse me, and I wanted to say one thing before I get started. Thank you again for all you guys that have subscribed to my channel and that follow me and that support me and have supported me throughout my journey. So please don't forget, if you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button. It's free, no cost to you. And yeah, help me get to my 3K subscribers. And let's get started. So I think the biggest one, my oldest daughter's meningitis thing was a nightmare. It was a total nightmare. She had to go through so many different medications to find the perfect, I guess, formula, I think is a better way to put it, to get her to a point where her meningitis finally cleared out of her system completely. Like, it was always like coming back, disappearing, coming back, disappearing. It was really, really difficult. It was really, really challenging. And it was really what held us back, or held her back, excuse me, not us, because she's the one that really went through the journey. I was just there. I was just there supporting her. But it was really what held her back from being able to get her kidney. So for 7.5 years, the battle was real, was serious. It was a little bit of just trying to find the combination of what's the right thing, what's the wrong thing, what works, what doesn't work, and ups and downs, ups and downs. So she would try one medication, she would feel better, it would go away, and then in a week it'd come back. So she'd be clear, no bumps, no issues, and all of a sudden, the one, I guess, I think the biggest thing was that she would be good for, actually the first one, it worked for a little bit, and then about 3 months in, she ended up getting the infection back. That was the fluconazole. I know that that one didn't work for her at all. The intraconazole did work for her, which was great. That one actually cleared her system, which was wonderful. The IV was given to her for a year when she first got the infection. It was good. The problem was, obviously, it was IV, so she couldn't take it. It was just not going to work, having to take that at home. But once she took the intraconazole for about three times, getting infection free, it took, obviously, I think it was about 4 years in. She actually wasn't supposed to be on that medication for that long for some reason, but she did take it, and it ended up being the one medication that helped her, which was insane. I know that with the fluconazole, though, the infection did end up coming back, so that was a bit of a it was a bit of frustration because we thought it was going to help her. It just wasn't. It wasn't working, and we understood. So I think the emotional part of taking a medication that is not working or work for a little bit and then it stopped working, I think that is probably the heightened level of frustration with any person that's dealing with any type of issue or any type of disease. It's really important to understand that when you start this journey, especially when it comes to kidney disease, tuberous sclerosis complex, which is stuff that we have dealt with, when it's come to this type of stuff, the level of frustration is understanding that some medication might work, may not work. It's all dependent on, you as a person. Something that might work for my oldest daughter might not work for the next person that has the exact same disease as my daughter. So it's really important to understand, mentally prepare yourself to understand that not everything is going to work and not everything is not going to work, right? So something that might not work for her may work for the next person. Fluconazole is actually a really popular to deal with these types of infections, and it didn't work for her. It kept coming back. So we learned that the hard way, because the doctor definitely thought that this was something that was going to work for my daughter, and the infection came back. So it didn't, clearly. So what I'm trying to, the gist of it, I guess the gist of this conversation, I know that I'm probably going around in circles here, is that there was a lot of ups and downs. Like, we'd be happy and then we'd be sad, and then we'd be happy and then we'd be frustrated, and then we'd be flustered. So just mentally prepare yourself for any journey that you have, but don't give up. I think that's the gist of this, right? The gist of this video today is to understand that we might have to deal with something so complicated that we feel that if the first thing that we're trying doesn't work, we just want to give up, because we went all in, we pushed her. So I think that we got to, or I got to a certain point where I felt like, my girls are never going to feel better. They're just going to be so having to deal with this nonsense all their lives, and just feeling like crap, and this stuff keeps coming back and it won't go away, or it won't settle down. I think that is where my mentality was at one point, and then I would just snap myself out of it and say, what are you doing? Stop being a coward. Stop being so pessimistic, and start getting your what together, and let's take this head on. And I would walk into the room with my oldest daughter and tell her the same thing. We got to get through this together. We're going to do this. You're going to get better. You're going to feel better. So just mentally prepare yourself for that, okay? If you are dealing with anything that's crazy, that's about to come down, that is going to be a very difficult challenge when it comes to the medical part of it, because you can get through this if you keep yourself positive, optimistic, take that walk, exercise, meditate, relax, get away from that stressful situation a little bit at a time every day. Take 20 minutes for yourself and just go into a quiet room and meditate. If you have no quiet rooms in your house, walk out, go take a walk, go just get your mind straight, get your mind clear, okay? Because boy, when I tell you my mind is noisy, it is noisy. Like, it does not want to relax sometimes, and I have to find other things to do, right? Okay, so that's my oldest daughter. Those were the 3 medications that really her meningitis was the level of, like, did not want to go, or stubbornness was on high alert. So it really took several years for her to finally be cleared out of her system, and now she gets tested to make sure that everything is still cleared out of her system, which is great. That's really important. Now my youngest, this was a lifelong thing. So since 3 years old, she was having seizures, and from 3 years old she tried hundreds of different medications, combination of medications. When it comes to seizures, and I want to reiterate this, really, like, I want to make sure that I get this message out to you guys. So when it comes to TSC, or tuberous sclerosis complex, the brain is ultimately the most common place where the tumors affect. That's probably one of the most common, if not the top common, most place or organ that's going to be affected when it comes to TSC. Now, it depends on the tumors, right? So you can have scattered amount of tumors in your brain, or you can have one large tumor, like my daughter. She has a combination of clusters, as well as her SEGA, which started off smaller and it grew. SEGA, that's literally what it is. It starts off as, regular sized tumor. It could be any size, right? and it grows. That's what the Sega does. So the big thing about Segas is you gotta either stop it from growing and get it and shrink it down, or you gotta have it removed depending on where it's located. So where my daughter's was located, it wasn't gonna happen. She is just they could have done it, but the surgeon said it straight out. He said, "Listen, if I take this tumor out, she's gonna be worse off mentally, and then not only that, but the chances of it growing back are high because more than likely we're not going to be able to take out the entire tumor." So there was no purpose, right? So our second option was to put her on a mTOR inhibitor, which blocks the protein and the tumor from growing up. Some people that have tumors, cancerous tumors, they also used everolimus, and it either works or doesn't. Again, it depends on who, your body and how you are, because we are all different. We're all different people. So that was the end game for us when it came to Alani. We needed to find a medication that either stops the tumor from growing and shrinks it, or is it going to have to be surgery because the medication didn't work. So the main medications that she actually is taking right now, so it's Depakote, Keppra, and cenisemide, which are very common in the world of seizures, very common medications. So we did have to kind of find the perfect combination for her, along with not only finding the perfect combination, but also finding the right dosage for her. So for example, like she would take, okay, so let's kind of do this. Cenisemide, she takes 25 milligrams two times twice per day. So 2 pills twice a day, so it's 50 milligrams twice a day. Prior to her getting on the 50 milligrams twice a day, she was taking 75 milligrams twice a day. So that was probably more of a common thing that she was doing, right? So we would try to find adjustments. So prior to that, she was on 100 milligrams twice a day. So that goes the same with Depakote, right? So where she is currently taking, she takes 3 pills twice a day, so she's on 75 milligrams twice a day, where before she was taking 125 milligrams twice a day. So it's just trying to find the right combination. The problem is when it comes to seizure medications, and I want to get back to my disclaimer. I'm not telling you guys to ever take these medications. Please speak to your doctor. I am not a doctor. I am, like I said, I'm not a medical technician, nurse. I don't have a medical degree. This is all real life scenarios, real life experiences. So I want to make sure I get that disclaimer out at you. This is just our experience, okay? Do not take any medication or ask for medication without speaking to your doctor, especially if you don't have seizures, then you don't need to take these medications. So right now, Depakote, cenisemide, and Keppra. Those are the 3 medications she takes. She takes different dosages for all. The only one that she is currently taking, the liquid form, is the levetiracetam, which is aka the Keppra. So if you have children with seizures, or if you have seizures, you understand these names. You've probably heard them 1,000 times before. They're the most commonly used medications. So our journey. So I want to get a little bit into our journey. So when she first started, for example, Keppra, they had her on a low dosage. So we ended up adding Depakote to it, right? That didn't work. She was still having seizures, or she was having breakthrough seizures. So they might be a little bit less, but she was still having breakthroughs. So they started adjusting the level of medication to take for each of them. So that didn't work. She'll be good for about 3 months, 4 months, and then she'll end up having another seizure. So now we have to reevaluate her medication and add another medication to that one. So that's pretty much the way it works. The way it works when it comes to specifically for seizures. Seizures are really, really commonly known for this. Is that you got to keep trying until you find the perfect combination that works for you as an individual. For my daughter, it was more of she was on Depakote, Keppra, and cenisemide all her life. So since she was about 3 to 4 years old, obviously things changed. The names of the brands might have changed a little bit here and there, but she was on these medications. Now they were starting to, because they saw that it was working for her. It was reducing the number of seizures she was having, but they were trying to find the levels that work best for her. And once she stopped having the seizures, they started reducing the medication little by little, because we wanted to have her take less of the medication, which is the goal, right? So levetiracetam, which is aka Keppra, she's taking 1 milliliter. Now she's she's taking 8 milliliters. Before she was taking 10 milliliters, so that's down to 8 milliliters. When it comes to Cinesamide, she is taking 2 pills twice a day. Each of them are 25 milligrams. She used to take 75 milligrams. So this is stuff that we're kind of working on. The Divalproex, I can never say that, sodium, aka Depakote. She's now taking. She takes 3 milligrams twice a day. So she takes 3 pills twice a day. So this is what's worked for her. We found that whenever we take one medication off of her, so let's say we try to do like the 2 and 2 Depakotes, we saw that she was having breakthrough seizures. So we're starting to recognize what's her level. So that's where we're at right now. This is perfect. She hasn't had any seizures, but we now added everolimus. So because though she was on these medications with no seizures, she started to I know I explained this before in another video. She was having difficulties moving her head, where we saw her struggling. That's when our journey started, where we had to take her to the surgeon to talk to the surgeon. We found out after having her have an MRI that she was having issues. The fluid in her cerebral was actually there was a bit of obstruction because her sega had grown. So we had to find a way to either remove the sega or have it shrunk. And that's when everolimus was added to her prescriptions. And it's actually, if you read up a little bit about that mTOR, it actually reduces your chances of having seizures as well. So we believe that that's also helping in her journey here. So, and she hasn't had a seizure for several years. So we are extremely fortunate because this is something that was a long journey. But we got here, and after constant battles, and when I say constant battles, she had some ugly seizures, man. She had some ugly ones. She locked up one time and fell on a ceramic floor. So that was terrifying, but we never stopped. We never stopped fighting. When it went from me trying to find the perfect doctor to making sure that she was taking the best medication for her, being her loudest advocate. And though I was frustrated, I still came prepared. Go prepared if you are facing something serious today, or your child or whoever it is, a loved one. Go prepared to that doctor. Write down your questions. If you think of something, write it down, because we tend to forget stuff because we get distracted with, as my husband, the flashing light tells me, I get distracted with the flashing light. It's really important that you get your questions answered. Get your frustrations out there, and make sure that you have someone that's listening and understands. Don't have those if you have a doctor that you don't feel you're being heard, move on. Don't try to fight the cause, because most likely that doctor's like that with everybody in there. He's just trying to get to the next patient. So make sure you find the right doctor for you. We all might like a doctor that someone else doesn't like, or you might like someone that someone else doesn't like. It doesn't mean that that's not the right doctor for you. Just try to find that doctor that has your best interests at heart. Alright guys, hope this video has given you a little bit of insight as to our journey as to finding the right medication for each of my girls during their battles. It wasn't easy. It was a difficult challenge, but note that it's not going to be easy if you're dealing with something that's long term. With us, this is a battle that we're going to be facing for the rest of our lives. My oldest daughter, she'll be facing kidney disease for the rest of her life. My youngest will be, she'll be dealing with seizures and different stuff. Both of them have TSC, so this is a long-term journey. This isn't an overnight journey, and hopefully with medical advances in the near future when it comes to AI, maybe we'll all be seeing something a lot more different and a lot better for us, our survival, a little bit better for each of us long-term, right? So fingers crossed. I do believe that that we have gotten to a way better place than we were years ago, without a doubt. And I do give a lot of credit to all the fabulous doctors that we dealt with, that really were so focused, especially with my oldest daughter, because her journey was so unique, and doctors were so intrigued by her journey that they were really vested in her well-being, which was great. My youngest too, like she just the girls just have a great support system when it comes not only the doctors but their family circle. Thank you guys for taking the time out to check out my video. I hope these videos are giving you some information and some insight as to what we're dealing with, and maybe something that can help you out in your journey. And please wish my daughter luck as she is having her surgery on Monday, which I'm a little nervous as always as a mom, but I will be there right by her to make sure that she has a full on and the best recovery possible. And thank you guys again, and please don't forget to focus through and evolve. Ciao.